Hi everyone, welcome to this How to Practice. My name is Miriam Wistrach, I'm the director of UKS. I'm just going to very briefly, before I give the word over to this bunch, walk us all through UKS's ethical guidelines. So we ask that for this event you please interpret each other's statements to the best of their intentions. Please do not attribute opinions to one another. Please avoid personal attacks. Please avoid master domination techniques. In Norwegian, that's herskerteknikker. Please listen to and acknowledge personal experience. Talk to, not about people. And please respect the right to define one's own group affiliation and identity. Thank you. And with that, I'll just hand over the mic.
Okay, so this is happening when we're pointing.
I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
This might not be a thing at all today, but we know that sometimes it can be a little stressful to get up and ask a question. So we've put in a little method, the bowl. If you have questions, but you don't really feel like standing up in front of the audience and asking them out loud, you can. We'll be sending around this bowl. There's a pen and some Post-its in here, and you can write down whatever questions you might have. And I'll be moderating. So when there's things in the bowl, I will ask the question to the gang up here.
Thank you, Miriam. Hopefully this will become so informal that there is no need for the bowl, even though that speaking with the microphone is creating a certain distance, but we're doing it because it's being streamed. So thank you so much to Miriam and for UKS to want to do this collaboration with the Kunstnerforbundet and us here at Atelier Kunstnerforbundet. My name is Sille Storihle. I'm a part of Atelier Kunstnerforbundet, which is, I hate to say it, a talent development program, which is the art scene's way of tapping into the talent money that's going to all the sports. So I'm very grateful for Kunstnerforbundet to be able to tap into Talent Norge and to host some of us here. I've been here for a couple of years together with Nikhil, Erika, Karianne and Magdalena. So we are residents having studios here, and we're also able to do things with Kunstnerforbundet, such as invite great people, such as Kosmas and Paky. So I just want to briefly introduce 3137. I will not speak so directly about what you've been doing, because you will give a short presentation, but I wanted to just start with the fall 2019, because that's when I met Paky. I met Paky at ICP. I was there through Oka, and you were the first Greek resident at ICP ever. ICP is the International Curatorial and Studio Program in New York. So every year, Oka is sending one artist for a year and then a curator for 3 months to be in New York and work. And you were there as the first Greek resident. And I just immediately clicked with you, not only because you were such a great person, but I could really relate to your practice. And it was, I think it was this thing that you had your individual practice, and at the same time you were running a space and kind of shaping a platform. And as some of you might know, I've been running Frank since 2012, and 3137 actually started around the same time. Of course, the cultural contexts are very different, but there was this thing of building a practice that wasn't only about making work from an individual perspective. So it was dealing with collaboration, but also enabling space and also creating a discursive platform. And when I say that, when I speak about 3137 to people in Athens or people who have visited Athens, they're like, that's the most interesting venue or platform, so I trust them in that. And I'm very excited to have you share more about how you practice, and hopefully it will reflect with the art scene here, and that you will also feel comfortable asking questions. Yes?
We are 3, it's not just the 2 of us, it's also Chrysanthi. Koumyanaki is her last name, that she couldn't come with us.
To make it informal, she cannot come because she has a baby, and we already like her baby. So we like the baby a lot, but it's not able to travel that much yet. The baby is very young. Thank you, Sille. Thank you, Kunstnerforbundet, for inviting us. UKS, Miriam, Anne Marte, everyone for coming here today, early in the morning. We are very happy being in Oslo for the first time and discuss about our practice and enable a discussion between different environments. So I will, starting, we decided to give a small, briefly story about the space and how we are related to the Athenian community and to wider audiences. And we can open the discussion. We are very happy to direct the discussion to in whatever theme you like. So basically, we studied together in a city that it's in north of Greece, and it's not the strong and the biggest academy. So that formulated us a lot because the school has a low scale. So we were very connected and somehow communal, even from the school. But we knew each other, but we have never worked together. Everything came after graduation, after masters, etc. So we are coming back to Athens around 2011, and the economical crisis has just started, and we didn't know exactly what was coming. A lot of things came, a lot, practically, economically, tax-wise, institution-wise, but okay, let's not talk about that. So we, through a need of having a studio space, we started sharing a studio. Basically, Chrysanthi and I, we crashed Paky studio. And she was very open to give us space, to share the space, share the cost, share the responsibility of the maintenance of the space. And it comes together with something that we had in the mentality of the university, that we were discussing about our practices, and by chance, not by chance, naturally, organically came to the fore that we would like to organize an exhibition. And that we started sharing the space in 2011, and the first opening was 7th of February in 2012. And we didn't exactly realize that it's gonna be ongoing. That's why also we have a tension that we like a lot to talk about titles and names, etc. And then our name is very basic for our aesthetic. So we are 3. And this is the number of the road, 137. And also, our space is this storefront there, and it's like the ground floor, the half of it, not the yellow, let's say, not the corner. And it has three levels: the ground floor, the basement, and the mezzanine. So that's why we're using this name. So and. It's basically a studio space. It's our studio space, and also an artist-run gallery that we curate and co-direct together. And also reflected, as I told you, an individual need to share a space and also to present our work. It was very interesting that the ecology of the scene was very alive like now, but was very, very different. So every time we're reflecting to what happened, we think that it was a gap that we fulfilled in the scene that gave us a lot of energy to continue. Like we landed in a place that it was very ready for that, because the city used to have a very long-lasting pop-up initiative tradition, but not such as gallery spaces or artist spaces that having like a physical space. That basically after the dictatorship in the 70s, groups were very, very alive, but never with not never, just one or more two cases were like that. So so this welcome landing that we have in the scene gave us a lot, and also we gave because we are not we didn't have such a competitive style, and I think we don't have even now, allow us to enable a discussion and a space that is open for everyone, and we are always there in every project, so it helped a lot to create a nice atmosphere. Something that it's numerical and metrical, let's say, is that when we started in 2012, we have 3 collegial spaces that they were not exactly artisan spaces. It was a studio, then a place with technology and art, and then another small initiative, and none of these are existing now. People are still in the scene, but they don't run the spaces anymore. We passed through this period that now the city is on spot. So if we count down the artist-run initiatives and the gallery spaces and etc., the independent, let's say, scene, it's up to 40, maybe 50 places. So the map has completely changed. Recently we had a small, a brief discussion with one curator of the National Museum of Contemporary Art, and she mentioned that from the contemporary history of the art scene after the 70s, after the Second World War, but after the 70s, the most contemporary part, we have the most long-lasting initiative in Athenian art scene. So the city has came on spot through the economical crisis, and also in the art field, Documenta played a lot of gentrifying and mainstream, put in the mainstream the city, and also after that, a lot of people are moving there. Most of them, they're having another economy. They work abroad and they sustain themselves in a cheaper place. And also, it's not only in the art scene, it's an economical phenomenon that has changed radically the housing issue in Athens. We are facing an extremely rent hike. Even if we tell you now the prices, you will find it cheap. But regarding the income, are very radical, have radical change. So we have faced all these changes in the city, and we all the time we tried to discuss and to reflect our common interests, and also what we can share together and how we can formulate a program or an event or a thing in different formats that can accommodate other opinions and also other artists, other practitioners. So we started a lot with a will to share the space with other people, but with a radical change to invite people that they don't have a space or they don't have opportunity to show the work. But we have the map changed so radically that there are so many spaces now that you can present your work, that we stepped down of this statement. And we started with a lot of one-offs, that we would like to have a community gathering meeting. We had a lot of screenings and talks, and we realized that it was also our idea, our desire, let's say, that we would like to accommodate people in the program. So we are always present in the space, even now that we have another scale and we have a very busier program. We're always present when we are doing something, or even an exhibition. We are attending the exhibition every time that opens. So, and through these phases also, we had a thing that food played a very important role in the beginning. Till now, but it's not on spot anymore. And the idea was like we started also working off space because we had started to have an enlarged network, so we are invited to different places like here and like this case. So we started working on spot in the space and off space. And also a milestone in the program and in our history was when we did our first community project, that it's not a project based, created with a community, but it's a project that we are creating and inviting communities. So the first was in 2014 and was in a format of a radio. So we transformed the space into a radio station that you can listen to the radio on spot or also from your house. And this changed a lot, not changed a lot, that gave us the opportunity to work with this medium. And we liked it a lot. This is the third one we did. That was in 2019. 2020 December. COVID time. And that was in distance. We technically, the people were doing the shows from their places. In the first radio that we were much younger, it was a party atmosphere because people were coming and we had a nice also atmosphere on site. Trying to explain you a bit our other stuff about our history and our practice, something that was 2 years later in 2016, we started looking at the recent history of Athens, and it's crucial because the Athenian, the National Museum of Contemporary Art, now is in full spin. It works normally. I don't know what this word means, but it is in full function, let's say. But back then it has a problem, institutional problem with the building. So the museum exists for 20 years, maybe 20-something, 22. In 2000 it started. And it has a collection and exhibitions, but they didn't have they were not in full spin because they didn't have their own building. So you didn't have access to recent history to see a display with artists, local artists, and find connections with the international scene or understand the history. So it was a self-experiment and a self-history experimentation to try to find connections with because we realized that with the scene from the 70s, it was something like an island that it was not connected with us, but then when we were trying to understand, they were like a seriality that brings you today, and there were a lot of things in common. So we did the biggest research project we have ever done, and we make a series of events with screenings, display, archive display. We invited a lot of the artists. Unfortunately, till now, not all of them are with us. And we are very happy. We are in the moment that in 2023, we are presenting a book with all this research. And it was a very important moment because this community project that we have created, and we are like working with this format, met the idea of storytelling, because it's not exactly a scientific historical work. Is what it was like a storytelling, and it was we felt that we're creating an encounter, and also these two milestones are taking us to the latest thing that we have done it for a long time, for 3-4 years. And it has to do with the word that recently started using is instituting. We started working on the idea, what is an initiative? We started reflecting on that. It was something that we were doing from the beginning. I remember that when we started the space, we were Googling what is an artistran space, because what is an artistran space, and because we knew initiative, protopoulia in Greek, it was an initiative, and then we started saying about the term, and also lingua franca of the art world is English, Greek is a nice language, but it's with a lot of vocabulary, but not for everything. So we are still using this very Greek word, artisan space. So we try to understand what is an artisan space, what is an initiative, what is institutionalization, what can we do instead of that, how we can talk about the economical sustainability, but not only economical sustainability, even for mental sustainability, for community sustainability, how we can create something that can set a discussion, also be open to reflect itself and also other. Sorry for moving the mic. So this thing has to do with the idea of institution and what we'd like to create and constitute, let's say, and also has to do a lot with the working conditions. And we did a lot of work on that, and also we were part of the lobbying and advocation, and also the union that we try to form, because there is like more than 50, maybe more years, a chamber that it's more state, not that active in the fields that we try to formulate a union now. So also that was part of the theoretical work of the content making related working labor and union. Sille holds. She's better prepared than me. All this work about instituting and working labor and performing the institution, as Kunsthalle Lisbon says, that we are friends with them in this, and we are discussing a lot. This is the publication that we ended up. So it has the story of the institution we tried to formulate, and on top, on the cover is an empty pizza box. Very esoteric, but very funny for us. And then we did something more, less storytelling, let's say. We had another publication that is that we put on spot all our economical data for 2020. And regarding this scale, we did how and the budgeting, the cost, and everything. We formulate a code of payments for everyone that participates to our space. So everyone is paid symbolically, but everything is paid, and the services, artists, the cost, the production, if it's a new piece, a symbolic fee for a pre-existed piece. So we try to create a structure for that. But we didn't propose the prices because we only say our prices, but we're proposing a contract that we work with a lot of lawyers, a Greek one. The lawyer that we are using, and is a friend, she's a friend, an amazing lady that she has a leading role in intellectual property field in Athens, and she did all this service for free, and we have to say it loud. Is Marina Markelou, amazing person. And also with Lena Saltos from New York, that is also related to ISCP because she's a border, and they became friends with Paky. So she helped us a lot in the English version to make for the Greek laws, she transformed it into something more open for international connections later. So it's more related to the ethical code rather than to the law system. So that was something that I'm trying to point that to tell you how we deal with the idea of this work labor and instituting. So we try to to reflect the discussion and make content, because we are not a union ourselves. We are participating in that. So we try to separate the political and active part rather than the content making. So to sum up, because I think I talk we live together through this space. Sometimes it's very, very difficult. It's because it gives us a lot, but also needs a lot of it's a lot to maintain the space. It's a space that gives us mental clarity sometimes, because being an artist, a freelancer in a competitive environment. It's very, very draining sometimes. So it's between, so we talk about business because you have to budget. We talk about care and we care of each other and of the program and of the artists that we accommodate and of the public, because it's our mentality to do that. It's an initiative, so it allows us to have the freedom to do whatever we like. And also budget-wise, we are dealing with that. We never have one main donor or sponsor. And it's really difficult to, you are reaching the ceiling, you feel that. We try to have from different and also always from the public. And this is something that has changed a lot, how the public funding these 10 years has changed. When we started, imagine that even for theater, that it's something that the ministry used to fund a lot, they have stopped during the crisis. The last 4 years, the last 2018 it started again, and 2018 when it was started was the first time that it was a call for visual arts. It was only for dance, music, and theater. So we live together in the space, to sum up, and it's not only a program. If you come, you are visiting a gallery that it's a non-for-profit, non-commercial. It's an artist-run space, this Greek term, but also it's a common piece, and the program is by invitation only, not because it's exclusive, but it's not only the program, it's a discussion piece that we have between us, first of all, and it's an exercise to find the common area, and it's an exercise of discussion and acceptance. And through that, we start to open the space to the artists, not only to artists, to the practitioners that are invited, and then to different publics. And from the neighbor, we are very connected to the neighbor, to the city, to international visitors, etc. And this is it. I think I spoke a bit more than, yes. But it's not my mother tongue, so sorry for that.
Thank you so much, Kosmas. Maybe we should open it up to Paky. Do you have any additional things?
It was a plan in the beginning, but I think we are okay now. We can go to a question directly. That was the initial plan. No, we are okay.
Yeah, I feel like you touched upon lots of the things I was going to ask you about. So it's like, where do we continue? But I think it's interesting to think about what you said about how you come to choose something, because for me, running Frank, we had this we came with a statement. We came with okay, we're running a queer feminist space, and then or a platform, and that was kind of the lens, even though we were working through, and this kind of the way you came together and the way you're now, the interest that you are also developing throughout. I was kind of curious to think how do you actually end up with deciding to do a project, or to what is the guide, what are the things that
So it has to do also with different periods. So in a period, maybe it's in the beginning, it was more how to invite more people in to take the space, how to create your own exhibitions, and etc. Then it went into how to bring different people together from different generations, to bring people from the neighborhood. And I think, so it always has to do with a need, but I would say that a common thread through all that is the idea of a gap, that we are based in a city that is very different than the city that you live, and that we always feel that there is a need of saying out loud at least, something that we want to happen for our profession, for our community, and for our city. So, and the way we decide, it's talking on this theme areas, exactly, extensively between the three of us, but also very open with other people from the community that we've been discussing all these years.
And practically, and we were 11 years younger, so we had a bit more time. We were discussing a lot. We had long-lasting appointments to discuss 5-7 hours, and with not an agenda, without an agenda. Just discussing how are you feeling today? What do you think that is needed? So, and okay, this changed a lot. Now we have a weekly appointment, we have slots to work. It has changed a lot. But I think that's also something that helped us a lot, and also it raised the difficulties, but helped us a lot to be open and decide is that we have rolling roles in the program making. In practical things, we don't have rolling roles. But every one of us can take the responsibility for something, or be assisting something, or denying something, and we give a lot of space in the decision-making procedure, let's say, as it's called. Very cold term, but sometimes it was a joke. Now it's going less and less, fortunately. But we are going to a discussion, and I say one, Paky says two, and then to the next meeting we have changed because we are thinking a lot what the other said, and so yes, I changed mine, and everyone of us has changed mine. So that also helped us a lot too.
Maybe you can speak about some of the seemingly boring kind of what you spoke about now in terms of the roles you have, and because even though it seems like I think it's often that we speak about the very large kind of the reasons why you did something, and the sort of the higher questions, and then but a lot of this is like you were friends, you started with you bombed the studio, and then you started working, and the kind of the 10 plus years you've been running 3137 has also kind of you created certain strategies and structures for how you divide your time, how you divide your artistic time from your running the space, the roles you take on. Can you say something of the kind of the inner workings and mechanisms of the 3137? Because I think it's very interesting, and from my perspective, because you start with this like this initiative, this vision you have, and you do everything, and then to kind of make that come through, and then there's a lot of kind of structure that comes out of it. Sometimes it's formulated, sometimes it's not, and I think also when you think about the longevity and the sustainability of it, you have made some decisions for the future now. But I was curious, like, about the role division.
Okay, the immediate thought, it's like the trust. So it's an idea of trust and changing and breathing in and breathing out when the other person needs time for the personal practice, for health, for love, for whatever. So this is the main thing. But then I think it's important that we are, the idea of instituting that Kosmas said. So in the practice, there is a need. There is a need to fulfill. We are in a city that it still lacks stable institutions, long-lasting institutions. I mean, we are invited here from two institutions that they are above 100 years old for contemporary art, visual art. Like, this doesn't exist, I don't know. So I think it's between those two things, and also through the years, what I do as 3137 informs my art practice and liberates my art practice, even if it steals time from it. So the collectivity of it, the support of it, the political aspect of it, of the group work that we do, give a different type of space and time into my personal practice. But of course I struggle a lot. And I hope that Chrysanthi Kosmas leave the country and I take 3137 on my own.
It's a joke. It's a joke with the numbers. That when she was pregnant, I say, okay, now we are 2137, Chrysanthi. And soon I will make it, Paky one. No, come on, let's say something. Paky was you answered by the book. I didn't expect that. It's vice versa. I am by the book and she says the real things. But the thing is that we struggle a lot with time balance between the maintenance of the space and the personal and the time for other stuff. But on the other hand, it's something very special when you work with others, that you have a good collaboration, the effort multiplies. And this gives you, we're not only three, when we are synchronized, it's like working 5 people. You realize that other people, they're saying, like, the work has been done, it doesn't seem that it's only made for 3 people, by 3 people. So there is a problem in balance in time, but also the space doesn't only give these symbolic and ethical values and surplus back. It also give us visibility, give us access to other networks, give us access to funding, because you cannot fund even that this funding scheme by the state started, you cannot apply as an individual. And even I don't want to be this bad guy that complain about what they say. The general secretary said amazing stuff last year in the briefing. Said, we reached this exotic thing that we have to give money to individuals because of COVID. I was really upset. Exotic. It's not exotic. It's the thing that you have to do. But okay. So it gives you access to, it gives you visibility, it gives you access to funding, it gives you a lot, practically, it gives you a lot of stuff. But to be honest, it's not the way, it's not that we are doing it. It's because I think it's difficult, we disagree, we don't fight. It's important that we disagree strongly sometimes, but we can separate this from personal life. But I think it is because we are enjoying it a lot.
I think it's something magic about the 10-year mark, because also in Oslo, for those of you who are based there, there's a lot of artist-run initiatives, and UKS has been very crucial and like important in building like a sort of economical infrastructure. So you can now apply to be like to get funding to run an artist-run space, not only from project to project, but you can actually sustain the space, which is incredible. Even though I think I was talking to someone who used to run a space here that recently shut down, and they've been running it for 10 years. And it's also this thing where sometimes your practice change, even when you're at the point where people will almost throw money at you, you are like, no, by practice I cannot sustain it even like longer. And I think there is something now that you're like also on the 10-year mark. You were saying that you are now decided that for the next 2 years, I mean, you can explain it, but I think it was interesting to have it so well formulated. You can share.
Yeah, because also we felt that it was a moment that we have to stop, maybe. Yeah. Like it was a very successive success year, the last years. We pointed out like about the real estate thing in Athens. We had a great group exhibition. So we were like, okay.
We have it now.
Yeah, we still have it, and it will be there for the second half of September. If you're gonna visit Athens, please come. So it was a moment that we said, okay, maybe now it's time to focus on our personal practice or something like that. But then, no, we said that we want to test even more and to stay for 2 more years. Okay, things are changing. It's not that that we sign a contract now with what we say, but the idea is that let's try a bit more. Let's give 2 more years. I do believe that the 10-year has something like, but there are many steps in our situation to try more. So in a city, in a country that there is no funding for, not a project-based funding, but structural funding, we said let's take 2 more years, that we put a goal to earn some money as workers, because Kosmas said that all greatly said about what 3137 is giving us back, but it never gives us back a salary. I'm not talking about a big salary, but not even a small one. So we said, let's try the next 2 years to see if this is possible in the context we are, and if not, we should definitely leave it behind. I even say in big words that if 3137 won't make it,
it's not only money. Also, we can see how it can be. We decide like we give two more years, that we work like in specific hours, because this is the problem. The main problem is that you ended up working 80% of your time in stress to to organize everything, etc. And then you are a bit drained for other stuff. And so we decided to pack to make more compact the time that we're working, and so we can count more. But it sounds very practical, but also it's a psychological thing. So it gives you mental. It allows you to have mental space and clarity to decide. And
for me, it's a research field. I'm saying it this way because it's a research to see if it's possible to understand, to see exactly how many hours we work, to see exactly what are the possibilities of the fundings in the specific country, in the specific years. We are not very lucky for the momentum of it, but to see. So for me, it's also interesting in this term.
But it's very interesting because Sille said that let's try to be informal. The last time, it's before 3 days, we had a talk with a very nice person that we would like to collaborate, and I put on spot money in the next 2 years, and Paky said very clear, it's not only money, it's other stuff that we have to achieve in 2 years. And now it happened what I told you. We changed opinion in a good way. We think it's.
I still believe I didn't talk only about money.
You talked only about. You said salary.
Yeah, but I said research as well.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. An economical one.
Miriam, do you wanna?
I just had a question about, so you're at the 10-year mark, and I was wondering if you could say something about how 3137 has changed kind of in the context of the city. Because I imagine you're 10 years older than you were, obviously, so there's lots of new spaces, so I'm guessing that many of those spaces take up some of the space that you might have done 10 years ago. So kind of what are you replying to in the city now in the space? And maybe also what can you see that other spaces are taking care of? And then I'm also going to say to Sille that there's 18 minutes left.
So in my case, because it's a new thing, it's in process, in progress, what we are discussing, the three of us, it is a question of what to leave back in the city. So because there are no institutions, long-lasting institutions, for me there is a question if it's possible to create a space from artists to artists. So for me, and this is why I said in this appointment that, okay, it's not only about the man, because if it happens, and this can happen in 2 years, then my interest for the city and the country is to give back, not an institution, but something from artists to artists. We always reflect with what is happening in the city. There are different needs that the spaces and the initiatives and the individuals are covering with the rise of the different projects in Athens. How we replied with our last program was by, first of all, inviting a lot of them. So in this last radio we did, we had more than 30 initiatives of the city to say why they are in the city, why they are in the specific neighborhoods that they are. And we also, with the program and that took its final phase with the exhibition, we tried to reflect on the economical changes around the housing industry and the real estate in Athens. But it's a process. I don't know if...
I think I agree, but also I feel that now, because the scale is very, very different. For example, the artist-run thing and initiative thing in Athens is the majority. But when you are visiting the Athens, art-wise, you don't go to all of these spaces because these spaces have smaller audiences, I think. And also, some of them, they are on and off. It's like, I think that they are more young and fresh, it's like more in the state when we started. Basically, it's something that we have to do less in order to be more open, but we hold the responsibility of institutional duties very often. Also with the 70s history storytelling project, we had really difficult times because of that. And also, I think it's not. It's very, very internal. What I will tell you, because if you haven't been there, you will not understand. The thing that the museum opened and the collection is on display, and it has the beginning of this collection is the 70s. So I think that relaxed us a lot. It released the tension. Because even that we are not say it loud in words that it's a responsibility, it was. You were dealing with people that very, very important artists from the 70s and people that are not complaining, but they are very active, etc. And they have a fear of vanishing. You felt that, like, and it's very, very tough. Also, then people started passing away. The most important collaborator of us is an amazing lady, an amazing art historian. She's losing her sight. It's amazing. It's stressful. I like her a lot. It's stressful. Because we met her the last time in the park, and she was very happy. And she was laughing. I said, "You met me because it's during the day. During the night, I don't go anywhere." And it's nice because you see the power that they have, and from the 70s, from another generation, but it's stressful. Time is running out.
No, just to add that also, because we were talking about that also, that there are now these efforts of unionization in Greece. So hopefully this will also release some of this type of weight that Kosmas is describing.
I really want to open it up to, I have lots of more questions, but I want to open it up to the audience or participants. Do people have, I know there are people here who have been running other initiatives and spaces. Some of them look similar even, but I can also continue. Does anyone have any? Is there anything in the bowl?
I can send around the bowl.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the international scene as well, because you just mentioned briefly when we looked at the photo, you're like, yeah, that space next to it is now bought by Swiss artists as their studios. I think it's also, this is Athens, but it's also the part of Athens which is turning very hip, and there's a lot of, the gentrification, like you said now, that you're also having a rent rise. Yes, so there's like also external. I kind of wanted to know more, because I think many of us do relate to Athens also through like the art scene, through Documenta and these kind of reasons. So I would like to hear, because you're so grassroots, so based in Athens, to hear like how that is like affecting the work you're doing.
Two things. One is economical scheme. It's something that is very annoying, that we are listening all the time, but okay, it's normal. People are coming, people like us, not rich people, and say, Athens is very cheap, because it's cheaper than the places they are living. But you must have, you must make a scheme, an analogy between the income, the basic needs, what is provided on this price, and how you can sustain yourself. So this is an economical procedure. Parallel to that, it's a political battle, because Exarchia is the name of our area. Used to be a very political active area with the longest anarchist and left history in the country. It hosts also the Polytechnic School, that it's one of the most important institutions played a role during the dictatorship, because it's a history thing, and it's a political battle, because the right-wing government that we have now, it's not only the gentrification, use it as a symbol that now it's not anarchy anymore, it's not chaos anymore, we are ruling the place. You can go there having an amazing fine dining. You can. So it's also a political thing. It's not only the economy that allowed other people to move and live nomadic and have income from outside and living there. It's also a political. So it's we are on spot. I am very proud to say that I'm the 5th generation of this area. All my ancestors are coming from this area, but I'm bored. I'm annoyed. If I can live in another neighborhood, I will. The space, though, I don't want it in another area. Personally, I think all of us.
It is also amazing, the space. It has this, like, it's the store, kind of big, kind of storefront, really tall ceilings, and it has a mezzanine. And then down you can go in like this spiral stairs.
How many square meters? How many you would say?
I don't know.
70, like the whole thing, or 80, something like that.
70, 33 ground floor, 17 mezzanine, and 22. Yes, I have good memory. Sorry for that. 72 it is.
And then you go down the spiral ladder, and there's like you have a more ceramic studio. Like
We did a
ceramic studio in the story.
we did a renovation recently.
Oh, yeah. So if you come to Athens, please visit 3137. Even if they don't have anything on, I think they would be happy to